I remember the first time my parents called me worthless. I was 15 years old. 15 and old enough to dream, young enough to still need their love. But instead of encouragement, instead of comfort, they gave me a word that cut deeper than any knife. Worthless. I can still hear it echoing in my ears. Worthless. The sound of it wrapped around my heart like barbed wire, leaving scars I thought would never heal. And when the people who brought you into this world convince you that you have no value, it's easy to believe them. What I didn't know then was that my life was about to take a turn no one saw coming. That hidden in the shadows of betrayal, heartbreak, and rejection, there was a secret waiting for me. A secret that would change everything. Growing up in my parents' house never felt like home. I wasn't the golden child. I wasn't the one they bragged about to neighbors or held up as a shining star. No, I was the mistake. The burden. The kid they compared to my siblings and sighed at in disappointment. If I brought home a B, it wasn't good enough. If I tried out for a sport, I was told I'd embarrass the family. And when I dreamed out loud, when I dared to imagine something bigger for my life, I was mocked. Look at you, my father sneered once. You're not smart enough, not strong enough, not good enough. You'll never be anything. I remember running to my room that night, slamming the door, pressing my face into the pillow so no one would hear me cry. But my tears weren't silent. They were screams that my soul swallowed whole. By 15, those screams had turned into silence. I stopped speaking up. I stopped dreaming out loud. I stopped believing in myself, and that's when they called me worthless. Not just once. Over and over until the word clung to me like a second skin. The only person who saw me, who really saw me, was my grandfather. He wasn't loud like my parents. He didn't shower me with false praise, he just listened. When I sat beside him on the porch, he'd hand me a glass of lemonade and ask about my day. And unlike anyone else, he actually cared about the answer. He told me stories of his youth, of struggles and failures, of people doubting him until the day he proved them wrong. One night, when I confessed that I felt invisible, he looked me in the eye and said, "Listen to me, child. Diamonds are made under pressure. The world may not see your shine yet, but you are no less precious." I didn't fully believe him, but I wanted to, and that want kept me alive. When I turned 15, things got worse. I wanted to apply for a writing contest at school. It was the first time I felt excited about something in years. I brought the form home full of hope. My mother looked at it, then laughed. "Writing? Who's going to listen to anything you have to say? You're wasting your time." My father snatched the paper, ripped it in half, and tossed it in the trash. "You're worthless," he spat. "Stop embarrassing yourself. Stop embarrassing us," that word again. Worthless. It was the night I broke, the night I sat in my room staring at the ceiling, wondering if my life had any meaning at all. And then my phone buzzed. A message from Grandpa. "Come over. Let's talk." I went to his house that night. I didn't know it would be the last time. He sat me down at the old wooden table, eyes filled with something heavy, something urgent. "Life isn't always fair," he said softly. "But I need you to promise me something. Promise me you'll never let their voices drown out your own." I nodded, tears streaming down my face. Then he leaned closer. "There's something I've never told anyone. Not your parents, not your siblings. Only you," I frowned. "Why me?" "Because," he whispered, "you're the only one who understands what it means to be underestimated." And then he told me about the investments he'd made years ago, about the fortune he'd quietly built, about the 40 million. No one knew existed, and he said, "It's yours. All of it. One day when I'm gone," I couldn't believe it. $40 million. Me, the worthless one? I laughed through my tears. But he didn't laugh back. He just held my hand and said, "This is not about money. This is about proving to you, to the world, that you have always been worth more than they ever imagined." A week later, He was gone. The man who believed in me. The man who gave me hope. Suddenly, my world was darker than ever. My parents didn't cry at his funeral. They argued over what little they thought he'd left behind. His watch, his house, his car. They mocked me when I wept. Pathetic, my father muttered. Crying won't bring him back. I wanted to scream the truth. I wanted to tell them about the secret. But I didn't, not yet. Instead, I stayed quiet. I let them sneer. I let them laugh because deep down I knew a storm was coming. Weeks later, the lawyer called us in. My parents sat smugly, certain they'd inherit everything. The lawyer opened the folder, cleared his throat, and read the words that changed everything. To my grandchild, the one the world called worthless, I leave everything. My parents' faces turned white. The house, the car, the accounts, and then the number that made their jaws drop. 40,000. Silence filled the room. I sat frozen, my heart racing. My parents turned to me, eyes wide with shock and rage. You? My mother gasped. My father slammed his fist on the table. This must be a mistake. But it wasn't. It was his final gift. His final proof that I was never worthless. You'd think inheriting 40 million would feel like a dream come true. But at first, it felt like a curse. My parents begged, then demanded, then threatened. Suddenly, the people who had called me worthless wanted me to save them, to share with them, to fix their mistakes. When I refused, their love turned to venom. You ungrateful child, they screamed. You'll regret this. But I didn't regret it, because for the first time in my life I wasn't powerless. I didn't spend the money on mansions or cars. I spent it on myself, on my growth, on becoming the person they said I could never be. I built businesses. I funded scholarships. I helped other kids who'd been told they were worthless find their voices again. And every success was a quiet revenge. Every achievement was proof. Every headline, every accomplishment whispered the truth louder than I ever could. I am not worthless. I never was. Looking back, I realized something powerful. The pain shaped me. The betrayal fueled me. The rejection pushed me. If my parents had believed in me, maybe I would have stayed comfortable. Maybe I would have never found my fire. Sometimes, the people who hurt you most are the ones who secretly hand you the matches to light your own path. So here's what I've learned. Never let anyone else define your value. Worth is not given. It is discovered. And sometimes, the greatest revenge is simply becoming everything they said you couldn't be. Today, when I hear the word worthless, I smile. Because I know the truth, I was never worthless. And neither are you. If you've ever been told you're not good enough, not smart enough, not strong enough, remember this. Those words are not your reflection. They are a projection of someone else's limitations. You are stronger than you know. You are braver than you believe, and your worth cannot be measured by the people who fail to see it. So rise, prove them wrong. Turn your pain into power. Because one day, when the world looks at you in disbelief, you'll remember this moment and you'll smile. Not because you inherited millions, but because you inherited something far greater. The unshakable truth that you are and always were, priceless.